we actually have a similar type of thing. We do have a publication we put out once a year, our Journal of Technical Analysis. And a similar idea is really geared with deep experts. The articles tend to be very technical, and not, kind of a play on word technical analysis, but very technical, very specific to the industry, very specific to truly knowledgeable individuals, somebody who understands the skill set of what you're doing and what you're conveying.
Right.
And how much of that do you expose to the public? And can you start to take some of that into more bite-sized pieces that you can put into something that then the broader world can consume?
Yeah.
Meaning, can you take that plus a presentation like this, parts of this, and put together, 7 to 10 hours of content that somebody could consume over, online, read the articles, watch the presentation by the subject matter expert, and at the end of that 7 to 10 hours have developed some little bit of a skill, right?
Yeah.
Have developed something that is helpful for them. And then how do you price that and make it consumable?
Totally.
For our members today, it's all free. It's part of your membership.
Right.
But to those people who aren't part of the membership but would like to consume it, what's the right price point? What's the right delivery mechanism? How do you package it? How do you put it into something that makes it consumable?
Yeah.
For a broader community than you currently serve with the folks who clearly are your members today.
Yeah. Yep.
And then do that. So it is a battle that's just really starting to fully be engaged in the association world, I think.
Right.
I think the publishing is a great example. You look at textbooks. You can still get, here, let me grab it here. This is our 2020, the 2021.
For everybody listening, Alvin just grabbed a big textbook and showed it to the camera.
So this book you can purchase it, you can get a digital, basically the digital version of that book, like on a Kindle. You can get it through the publisher. But now we've just introduced it in a learning platform where it's broken up into what you would call lessons.
Right. So
that delivery mechanism is entirely different, and the way that's structured is entirely different than just reading the book. It's all the same material.
Right. But it appeals to a different type of learner as well.
Right.
Alvin, last question before we let you get out of here, if that's okay, is a question that I ask to almost every guest, which is, at this stage in your career, what do you wish you would have known when you got started? And you could think about that, your entire professional background, or maybe even just getting started in association leadership. Kind of take that any way that you'd like.
Yeah, I think that the piece that I think that you kind of don't know when you first get into it, that you kind of would have been helpful to know coming into it, especially coming from, let's call it the industry and for-profit world into the association world, is while there's a lot of similarities of running the business, it is still at the end of the day a business. It's a sharp difference, but it's also a nuanced difference. And that is what we talked about early on, is that in the for-profit world, you're really trying to, you can really definitely identify, and everything you're doing is to drive the product successfully into the marketplace. And in the nonprofit world, that balancing the fact that you have to deliver and have a need and a mission to deliver services that at the end of the day are all just cost centers. And so, and how you have to balance that part of the business with the part of the business that helps fund that, right? And so you really have to think about that whole picture a lot differently. And it's hard to, for anybody who's never sat in the chair, it's really hard to understand that, until you've been in the association world, that there's that balance that has to be, that you have to kind of grasp and get your arms around. And I think my first iteration through the nonprofit and the association world, that was a big part of the battle. And I took over, the other association in 2006, and in 2008, the financial world came to a crumbling halt. because of the mortgage. I was basically 18 months into my stint running that organization when we had turned everything around from a business perspective, got it back to, not consuming the balance sheet, but actually putting assets back on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden 2008 happened, and you're struck with all that good work you just did. You're going to just destroy it in your mind, because you're going to have to run a bunch of programs for the membership to help them, because you're looking at a quarter of your membership out of work.
Yeah, right.
At minimum, by the way.
Yeah.
that was the number we got with people openly telling us they were looking.
Right.
I estimate there was another 15 to 20% that was out of work that weren't telling us they were out of work. And realizing we now had to offer a lot of programming. We had to step up programming that had no chance whatsoever of generating any near-term revenue.
Right.
But what was really satisfying is, if we looked at the membership level, like kind of take a date that was before the collapse happened.
Right.
And when I left in the middle of 2010 to go back in the industry, our membership level was actually up.
Right.
I think that only happened because during that the hardest 12-month period of time, we went out to the members who we knew were unemployed and said, look, if you're unemployed, we're waiving your membership dues for the year.
Right.
We want to help you get back employed. Would you, if you were running a for-profit, have ever gone to clients and saying, hey, this product that you pay, $350 a year to have access to, we're going to give it to you for free for the next year, but just because your business is struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's good values,
and if you do that with
but
a
it's
quarter
also
of your
good
client
business.
base,
Right.
what does that do to your revenue and in your profitability? It wipes it out.
Yeah.
But when we look 2 years later, we actually grew our membership during that 4-year window, and in particular from the period just before the collapse to the end. Right. And that was really hard to go through, and not knowing, not having experienced that in the membership world or having been exposed to it. That was the one piece, if I look back, understanding that sooner.
Right. Understanding
we
that
adapted to it reasonably quickly, but I think we could have adapted to it 6 months sooner if I had, been much more aware of that going in.
Right. Yeah. And talk about timely advice, huh? Many associations find themselves in that exact same situation right now. And I'm pleased to say that I've heard from many association leaders that this has been their realization as well, that in this time where the association is struggling for revenue because events have been canceled, sponsorships have been lost, et cetera, kind of the knee-jerk reaction is try to recoup as much revenue as possible. But in many cases, the members are hurting, and the members need to be attended to, and their needs need to be met. Yeah. And then if that's done well, that will kind of come back to you. Karma is practical, right? That'll come back to you in the future once a recovery has taken place and the industry is in a better place. So that's talk about timely advice.
And that, I think, when I look back, is had I had that experience or known that more fully when I first started in the association world, that I could have reacted quicker. We reacted quick enough, but I just look at it as a big learning experience that it was good to go through, but boy, it was painful at the time.
Well, it's a great story, and I'm sure it served you in this time, and it's again very, very timely, relevant story and advice and takeaway for what's happening right now. Alvin, this has been so much fun. I've loved this conversation, and there was at least half a dozen things that you mentioned that I wanted to go down the trail of, but maybe we'll have to do that at some point in the future.
We can investigate some of these things, at another time, but happy to do it.
That'll be great. Thank you so much, Alvin, for joining, and thanks for everybody for listening, and tune in on the next one.